And welcome in to Off Air with Amy. I'm Amy Wood. We're glad you're joining us today because we're going to dig into this new planetarium in Spartanburg that is at the Spartanburg County Main Library. It's right downtown. It is a new attraction, something walkable and fun to do. And they're going to have all these shows, both regularly scheduled programming, plus interesting events that'll come to the area over time that'll be enlightening, enjoyable, and fun, including one we're going to talk about, a Revolutionary War experience that's going to tie into the 250th birthday of the United States. So, with further ado, let me get right to Todd Stephens, the county librarian who's been directing things for decades. You are the county librarian.
What a great title.
I love it. You are the librarian of all librarians, right?
That's it. I am the county librarian.
Well, we love that you have done some visionary things. You always have. I will say, I'm giving you a shout out. You have always kept our library system on the cusp of where things are going. So let's talk about this planetarium. I mean, who would have thought a library would be a home for a planetarium? But here we are.
Yeah, and so really when you think about planetariums, they're domed theaters. Mm-hmm. And we already have community rooms, and we have puppet show theaters, and we have places where we do things. So what a planetarium does is it elevates the technology that's available. But essentially, it's a large community room with a domed screen. It's a 50-foot dome that has 5 projectors, surround sound. And sure, it shows things. It projects the night sky so that you can look at things as they are in real time, or you can observe real-time content as it relates to the galaxies. But it's also a theater that shows like 25 to 40 minute sort of documentary style videos about other things, whether it's history or science or nature or sports. I mean, it can really show anything. So I'm excited about this, Amy, because for me, it really does provide an amenity for folks who are aging in place, or for kids who are coming up through schools. It really is beyond one generation.
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about, though, how this does impact, for example, people that are considering moving somewhere. And you hear there's a planetarium in your community. I can remember when my kids were little, driving my way up to Charlotte to go to Discovery Place and see that operation and see cool shows that they were showing. But we can do that now here, which is amazing.
And what really, you said it, though, you had to drive your kids someplace. So why can't we have amenities here in our community that's available to folks? Yeah. I mean, there's no reason. The planetarium is an asset that's available to not just Spartanburg County residents, I mean, from outside our service area. It is a free amenity. Now, there may be times where we temporarily charge just based on the popularity of something, but the intent of its donors is that this is a free experience, no matter the age.
And let's talk about, too, we have so many cool things that happen with the night sky over time. I mean, is this something that we'll be able to have evening events when there is a big moment that we need to share as a community?
Yeah, sure. So, and one thing I run into, and it's a funny thing, people confuse planetariums with observatories. An observatory involves a telescope that you're looking out to the sky with. A planetarium is a domed theater that projects what is actually happening.
Gotcha.
So there's a funny little connection there with folks. So let's say there's a large event taking place. Let's say we're landing on Mars, and it's going to be at 9:00 in the evening. Well, we could have an event in the theater showing this happening in real time, projected onto the screen. And I do think there's something to say for collective experiences. When a community, it doesn't matter what you may think, feel, or believe, together as a community, you come together and you watch, participate in whatever the moment is, and then you have a conversation. What's
Well,
wrong with that? Nothing.
yeah. And think about like just forget that we even needed a planetarium for it, but the solar eclipse and how
Correct.
people gathered wherever, but
Wherever.
together to experience something together. It's kind of like a micro experience of that, correct? I mean, it will be or potentially can be.
Yeah, totally. Yes. And so, for instance, in January, however, we will have someone. They're called Chautauqua style
Sure.
presentations.
Hmm.
This is a Chautauqua style presentation in January. We'll have a young Daniel Morgan who is
Oh, wow.
addressing the troops the night before the Battle of Cowpens, and we will project what the sky was like the night before
Wow.
the Battle of Cowpens, and we will loop through the movement of the night sky.
Wow.
And so you're taking something history,
Hmm.
you're taking that's theater, and you're taking
Hmm.
something that is science.
Yep.
And you're just able to blend them. And that's what public libraries do, or libraries in general. We blend, we bring together different facets of our lives
Hmm.
into a place. And that's what we've done. I am extremely fortunate to live in a community or have a county that supports this type of project. It's a $15 million project.
Wow.
Certainly, county council was behind it and supported it, the library's board of trustees. But 33% of this is funded by private dollars. So every
Wow.
inch of that theater is paid for privately, as well as other aspects of this whole building, because it's not just the planetarium. There are other things that we included. And you can't you can't have these sorts of ideas or projects if it wasn't for people who are willing to invest in those ideas.
And people who have vision for the community too, right?
Correct.
They share the
Absolutely.
vision.
Yeah.
Talk and planetariums are all about vision, we might say.
That's right.
um, take me back to the seed of an idea that popped into your head. When did this become like? Wait a minute, I think I know what we need to do next.
Okay, so Amy, that's the funny. I've been asked that question many times.
Hmm.
Let me just start with the original building, the headquarters
Okay.
library, downtown Spartanburg, at the corner of Church and Broad Street, as well as Church and Kennedy. It faces Church Street.
Hmm. Hmm.
When it was built in '97, it was oriented to the south. So it's facing with the stairs and the fountain, it's facing towards Bethel United Methodist Church, the post office, it's facing south. So we were serving as this gateway into the city.
Hmm.
However, as Spartanburg is redeveloping and there's this reinvestment, our shoulder is now turned to the city.
Hmm.
I had this large corner of space. And we had, when I say we, that's a collective work of people, had looked at the corner of Church and Broad for I would say many years. And finally, in all the conversations, I had a study done that I could take the Landrum Library, which is about 12,500 square feet, and put it on the corner. I could just pick that library up and place it there. So I had plenty of room. And if you connect it to this building, the existing building, you can blend services.
Yep.
Well, that's it. But how do you get to the planetarium? Well, first of all, we've been studying. I had an individual in this community who is, I would say, a big cheerleader
Hmm.
for Spartanburg,
Hmm.
who is always interested in what we can do that's a little bit better and a little bit different that really improves life in Spartanburg County. And his challenge to me was bring to him a crazy idea. Just bring me a crazy idea. And so I blew the dust off all my thoughts and all my processes. And I took to him my crazy idea, a planetarium. And
Wow.
at first he was like, I don't know about this. But about 8 months
Hmm.
later, he contacted me and he said, I can't get this out of my head.
Wow.
And
Nice.
so he was very helpful as we move forward into the private fundraising aspects of this.
You need a cheerleader to do that for
You
sure.
need somebody who believes in you and
Yeah.
encourages you and also will challenge you and challenge your
Hmm.
thinking.
Hmm.
So before we even turned dirt, I must have had 25 conversations with people across the country
Hmm.
on the feasibility of something like this. push back on the idea. What is something we need to be considering? And honestly, Amy, I couldn't get. I kept saying, "Tell me where's the
What
weakness?"
else? Yeah.
And nobody could give me the weakness.
Nice.
And so then one thing led to another, and the private money was committed, and then so we broke ground, and now we are open as of Friday, which just by luck was our 140th anniversary.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
it's the 140th anniversary of the library.
That's amazing.
Helen Kennedy started the library on October 17th, 1885, and here we are. So it's a fun way of also recognizing her commitment and gift to the community.
And where it's come, how far it's come and where it's going. So you must at this point be hearing from other library systems around the country going, how did you do that? What are you doing?
Or what are you thinking?
Maybe, but you're a trendsetter here. I mean, we are the first in the nation, correct?
Well, so there is one other library in the country that has a planetarium. It's St. Charles, Louisiana, and it's a small classroom planetarium, about 30 seats. So it was built towards the tail end of the space race. So in the early 70s.
Okay.
That's it. So it's not like we could go to other libraries and say, so how did you handle this? How did you handle that?
Yeah.
So the person I have as my director of the planetarium, his name's Andy Flint. He's been on staff for about 14 years. He traveled to 16, 17 different planetariums, but those were pay-based. I mean, they were fee-based sort of entry ticket.
Yeah.
They were attached to science centers or universities and colleges. And so he really helped shepherd what our service model should look like. I'll tell you this, our community will tell us what the service model should be.
Right.
They'll give you feedback.
Absolutely. And I would assume there would be community fundraising so that when really important programs come in that do cost, there'll be some efforts to, bring in some school kids to see it, or, you know what I mean? Like find ways, almost the way in the local theater programs, they bring in the school kids to see the rehearsals or whatever, to try to expose everybody to this great thing.
Absolutely. And so we're already having conversations with folks around the 250th of the country. So the upstate's role really wasn't until 1781 with the Battle of Cowpens and Kings Mountain. We have been contacted about a custom film for the Dome about the American Revolution in the upstate.
Wow.
What did that look like? And then we've had conversations with a production company that does this type of work. That interest is there, but you're right. It's going to take private money to help bring that forward. As you know, in media production, it's not cheap.
No.
Editing, talent, all the things that come with it. And anyway, so those ideas are already there and we're working through them. But that just shows you the capacity. For me, Amy, this thing gives people an opportunity to think.
Yeah.
To think. And even if it's just their suggestions, they're thinking, they're invested in their community, they care, they have ideas.
Yeah.
And along with this building, we also have our maker lab that we moved into.
Yes.
So the Spark space was our maker lab in the main building.
Right.
With our 3D printers, our sewing machines, our embroidery,
our
vinyl cutting, our wood burning. We built took part of this building and were able to build for those services. And then we rebranded our Spark space to the Kitty Black Perkins Maker Lab.
Amazing.
And Kitty is somebody who graduated from Carver High School in 1967 when we were segregated.
Yeah.
She moved to LA, knocked around, got picked up eventually by Mattel, was at Mattel for about 27 years. Specifically with the Barbie line. She's known for a variety of designs, one of which is the Black Barbie, but she'll also tell you that it's a body of work. I mean, 27 years, it's a body of work.
That is
and so she's here now. I mean, she's here today. She's here for a couple more weeks. She's helping teach classes. She's in the lab. And so, yes, we have the science, but now we also have what I would say the arts.
Is she loving it? I mean, is she just absolutely soaking this up?
She is great. She is so easy to work with. And in this relationship, we have her Barbie collection as well as her archives that we were able to make a part of our overall historical collections, just to show what can happen.
Wow.
That was a lot of courage for her to get up and to move out to Los Angeles and live with her aunt and go to school and do the things she needed to do to improve her life and pursue her
Wow.
dreams. And she has family here in Spartanburg, so for her, it's homecoming of sorts.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I love that. It's a full circle moment for her. It's incredible.
Totally.
And when we come back, more from Todd Stephens, including what is happening to the modern day library. How is it being used in our community? Stick around. We'll find out where things are headed. And welcome back into Off Air with Amy as we continue our conversation with Todd Stephens and the Spartanburg County Library System. They are leading the way in the nation, the first to ever have one of these planetariums, a modern day one. And let's see where things are headed as libraries look at the future. Talk a little bit about what you hope to accomplish next. like I know you're just in this moment, but I mean, where are things going in the library world? I mean, this is obviously a new trajectory.
For us, I think you can't, while we do these interesting things and these fun things, and we also need to be very aware of kindergarten readiness. You were part of this Read Aloud Spartanburg County years and years ago. Kindergarten readiness, lifelong learning, reader services. I mean, the old reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental, and it's life changing, and it improves your life. So that's still central. So what's important to me as the director is that while this is an exciting time, now it is online, and we are moving forward with providing direct services through this new building. We still have children's services, teen services. We have our information services, our computer services, our local history services. I mean, we still have things that are central to who we are. One does not weaken the other. You want them to bring each other along. So I would say that I need to make certain that as an organization, including its director, that we continue to stay true to those foundational roles. I think when it comes to information in general, I am concerned. Now, when I say I'm concerned about artificial intelligence, I'm not concerned about artificial intelligence. I'm concerned of how folks look at information. And they apply a critical eye to the information they're receiving, and they're comparing that information with other sources to ensure that they are actually looking at what is real, true, accurate, instead of computer-generated sort of thing.
Yeah, it is difficult these days to parse through what is biased and what isn't, what is true and what's false. I mean, it's very convoluted. And those are life skills that honestly everybody needs at this point.
They do. And so with our work, whether it's with schools or other entities, bringing that information along. Even when I say schools, sure, but then there's senior centers where you have folks who are targeted with inaccurate information, and they're kind of fooled into a situation that may compromise their safety, security, whether that's financially or whatever, or emotional. And for us, if there's a role for us, then we need to really identify what that role is. We need to build that out and build those partnerships within the groups to ensure that we're doing the best that we can to help our community, because we've been around for 140 years. Helen started it with like 600 books. Well, we've gone through, from books to magazines to ebooks to cassette tapes to CDs to albums to all these things. Information is always there. It's how you access it. Planetarium, the Maker Lab, those are places where you can interact with information differently. That's no different than the conversation between beta and VHS tapes.
That is so interesting. You know, you brought up AI, and one of the trends I'm seeing reported on in the tech world right now is that as a result of so much AI happening and so much online happening, right, where we're having our conversation via webcams instead of sitting together in person, that in-person experiences, so concert attending, going to a planetarium, et cetera, all these things are being elevated, that the interest, the turnout, everything's starting to elevate because people are desperately seeking human connection.
Hmm. Well, and that's what we are, human. And sure, while I'm a very extroverted person, and the introverts in my world love being introverts, they would even say they would even say, I'm really speaking about members of my family,
Same,
but
same. I'm laughing because of that.
but they do need a human connection.
Yeah,
They do, and
yeah.
I it is one thing a public library can do, and I do tell kids this when I go out and speak to school groups. If at any point in time you feel unsafe,
Mm,
insecure, sad, lonely, just find I don't care where you are in the world, find a public
mm,
library.
yeah,
Because there are people there, it's a helping profession. They're there, there are people there who are there to help.
yeah,
And that's what, even if we can fill that little bit of a role for you, then other services will grow out of that experience.
mm-hmm,
So, I talk to, when I'm seriously, you're talking to a bunch of kids and they're kind of thinking, okay, okay. And I put it in like this. If you're hiking across Europe and you're somewhere in, I don't know, pick a country, somewhere in France, and you're just,
yeah.
you're tired and you're confused and you just don't know what to find a public library. Just,
That's a good point.
and just, it's a
That's a
cocoon.
good point.
Let it be a
That's
cocoon.
hmm And also, we have so many new people that have come to our region, right? That have moved here,
Absolutely.
are trying to settle in, figure things out. Librarians, I mean, I remember when I moved to Minnesota and had my first job in television. Of course, all we had were libraries back then, and we couldn't. There were no cell
That's
phones.
right.
No, but I mean, I went to those librarians, and we did
Yeah.
research together, and they helped me understand the community. You can learn about the history of the community. You can learn about all the cool things going on. They obviously are people living in the community, so they know about good restaurants and good places to go and all the stuff. So,
Right. That's right. Like a concierge sort of services.
sort of,
And
yeah,
you know, where do I go for fun? The
yeah,
I would say you mentioned history. That's another really interesting role for public libraries because families or individuals or corporations or individual histories,
hmm,
people spend a lot of time collecting their family story.
sure,
We receive these stories. Um, we don't have to have them, but if we could have a scan or something of that research, it saves the next person down the road from having to go back and do all that
sure.
work. And I have a great team of archivists and our local history department, and they work within all that to do
Hmm.
oral histories. Our Maker Lab has all the digital conversion equipment. So if you have slides or film or VHS tapes or whatever, and you need to convert it over, you can't go buy your local history on Amazon,
No.
right? You can't. It's
Mm-mm.
very unique to you. And what we can do is to some aspect of that, we could be the keepers of.
Yes. Well, before I let you go, I must say that I was almost had a tear in my eye when I found out that they brought you the Order of the Palmetto. I thought that was mind blowing for you, I'm sure. So tell us a little bit about how humbling a moment that was for you.
It was a very difficult thing to accept. I will
Mm.
say this. I appreciate that it was handed to me by the governor himself.
That's
That meant
amazing.
a lot. I mean, because it's a Friday. It's a beautiful day on a Friday. He
Yeah,
could have chosen to do something else,
sure.
but he chose to come to Spartanburg. His wife is from Spartanburg,
Right.
and she grew up here. She graduated from Spartan High. They got married at first. The McMasters got married at First Baptist,
Yeah.
and Amy, it's always the thing, right? Todd Stephens can do what Todd Stephens does because he has a great family
Hmm.
and he has a great group of people he works with and within a great community.
Hmm.
It does, it's meaningful to me but it also is a reminder of just all the other folks who've poured into all of our work. And that's not some crazy soft answer, it's the truth. I didn't go out and if my mother was still living, she would say, honey, that's nice. And then she'd take it from me and she'd put it in the closet. She'd say, don't get lost on this, just
No.
be appreciative, but then get back to work.
Well,
So
you've done a beautiful job, Todd. It's always been fun to know you throughout these many years we've both been working
absolutely.
here, and
Sure.
I admire the job you've done.
Well, thank you. And we have many more years to work together, Amy. So just
Yes, we do. Thanks, Todd.
Perfect.
Our congratulations to Todd Stephens. What an achievement to be recognized for your service to the community by the governor himself. Pretty incredible day for Todd Stephens and for the library system and for our community. I hope to see you at the planetarium, and I'll see you soon on the news.